Everyone, in the light of all of this media on Richard Simmons, I wanted to share my personal experience with Richard Simmons. Um, but just to rewind, as a kid, dance was my world. Dance was my world. So the idea of jazzercise really spoke to me. So if I wasn't dancing, I was jazzercising with Richard and Jane Fonda, my buddies, in my basement when I put my VHS tape in. And I knew one day I was going to go to California, even as a kid. I mean, I thought I would be this fabulous movie star. But one of the other things on my list was to be in an exercise video. I'm not kidding you. So fast forward, I'm in my late 20s and I'm doing stand-up, making the little the bringer rooms. If you're a comic, you know what those are, making the rounds. And I kept seeing this one chick, and she was really of course she's from New York, so immediately, if you're 3,000 miles away from home and you're an East Coaster, you guys it's like a magnet. Plus she was super cool and amazing. So Laura Dodona, if you know her, you know you love her. So we became roommates, but one night we're doing stand up and we finally were like, yeah, I've been seeing you around. We start to get to know each other. And she's like, oh, I go, where do you work out? Because it's something you say to people in Los Angeles, like, oh, what gym do you go to? And she's like, oh, I work out with Richard Simmons. And I was like, wait, what? Hey, excuse me? She's like, yeah, he has a gym in Beverly Hills. He teaches aerobics 3 days a week. It's called Slimmons. I'm like, hey, wait, what? She's like, yeah, you gotta come. So I'm like, oh my gosh, when's the next class? She's like, it's tomorrow. It's Saturday. You gotta come. So I go to Slimmons. And it was like a warm hug. Walking into Slimmons is like walking into an Italian person's home at Sunday dinner. Come on in, sit at the table, let me feed you. It's amazing. Everybody's so happy. Let's talk. Richard Simmons brings an energy to anything that he does. But that sanctuary of Slimmons became almost my church for me. Because in that world of Los Angeles, especially, being in front of the camera and trying to be your most slimmest and your most fabulousness and trying to keep up. I mean, and being in my 20s was really a lot of pressure. So, walking into that place where not a lot of the women were in the entertainment business and they were women of all shapes and sizes, it was like, oh, these are my people. These are normal people. Richard greeted me like he greets every person that walks into his facility that he didn't know. It was a new face. Right up to you. Like, hi, what's your name? Oh, you're cute. Oh, well, come on, let's sweat. Let's do it. Who are you? Oh, you're friends with? And then, greeted you. Oh, and not just like a handshake. It's like a hug. It's a whole situation that happens when you walk in. It's a huge greeting. And so I found myself going a couple of times, and it was like the third time, and I was having a hard time that day because my girlfriend's like, come on, we just have to go to the gym. And the day before, I tapped a Mercedes, and I was really nervous about the insurance company, and here I am on my own, and I mean, I'm scraping every penny to stay above water, So the guy calls me, and he's like, I didn't call my insurance company, but I had to take it to the garage and had the carriage on the bottom checked out, blah blah blah, and it's like a $500 bill, which of course I had a $500 deductible. And $500 back in that moment in time, it might have been $1 million. I just was so distraught. I mean, it was tough. And I was working 3 jobs. It's not like I was a bum. I was really scraping it all together. Student loans, car payments, health insurance. I mean, it was just nuts. Okay, and trying to be an actress, so you don't have a regular job. So I go to the gym, I work. My girlfriend's like, come on, my girlfriend Laura Dodona, if you know, you love her, became roommates. Amazing. She's like, come on, we're going to go to the gym. We're going to work it out. It'll make you feel better. So I did, and I tried to really stay in the moment, not think about this. And I thought I was doing a good job, but Richard can just read people. And he just came up to me after, and he's like, what is it? What's the matter? Is it money? Is it a man? Is it both? And I was like, yes, it's money, but I don't want to tell you. It's really, no, it's fine. It's fine. I'll be fine. No, tell me. I want to know. What's going on? I was like, I've only been here a couple of times, and this man, and I said, I told him what happened, and I actually started to cry, and I said, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so emotional, must have been the workout, it's just whatever. And he's like, don't worry. He goes over to my girlfriend Laura, and he goes, what's your girlfriend's name again? Renee. He says, you guys two get in the car and you follow me up to my house. So I go, so Laura says, we're going to Richard's house. I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, just get in my car, and I'm going to take you out. We'll come back, get your car later. I'm like, okay. So we go up to Richard's. We walk into his fabulous ornate house. It's really something to be seen. It's really amazing. It's him. And he palms me $500. Like, I'm speechless. And he said, look, when I opened Simmons, somebody helped me. So I'm helping you, and I know you're going to pay it forward. And I said, Richard, you really are my living angel right now. Like, oh my gosh, I'm getting emotional. Because it was such a moment in time that I needed help. And God sent me an angel, and it was Richard. And of course I dedicated my time to going to Simmons and being part of that community, because it was a really special time. But, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm getting emotional. I would always say that Richard was a great humanitarian. Because if you have been affected by obesity, whether it's been in your life, whether it's a mom or a sister or a brother, a cousin, it's someone that's close to you, or you know how that can change the dynamic in a relationship. People don't get help or aren't aware. Our own government, they don't look at obesity as an issue like they look at drug addiction. They don't look at obesity like that, like a food addiction. But until your life has been touched by it, then you understand it. So if it has, you know where I'm coming from. And Richard has dedicated his entire life, every breath, to educating people on obesity and making it not shameful and helping people change their lives and put the switch on. And he would say in class all the time, and nobody would say this in any exercise class I was in Los Angeles, he would say, it's not what you're eating, it's what's eating you, and he'd be like, you fed it, now lift it, He created this amazing place for people, and he dedicated every single moment of his life to those who suffer from obesity and supporting those who are affected by obesity, much like alcoholism and drug addiction. It's very different. So, it's different in the same, in the world, different that, like, the way people look at obesity. People look, who aren't affected by this disease, look at it as, oh, those people are fat. They can just stop eating. They could just put it down. Well, the big difference between the two is that if you're if you're addicted to drugs or alcohol, you don't have to have those things to survive, but you need food to survive. So if food is your addiction, it is a very different animal. And for those people who deal with it as well. So I have so much respect for Richard in so many ways, and he was so good to me at that time, and I'm so grateful to have had that time with him at Simmons and with all of those women. It shaped me in such a way. It was like my lifeline. I was very lucky in Los Angeles to have wonderful friends and friends who became family friends that helped me guide me through that time in that city, because you could get lost really easily. And that place anchored me in such a positive way. And yes, I was in a Richard Simmons exercise video with my girlfriend Laura Dodona. So I checked that one thing off the bucket list on a happy note. I was so happy to hear today, Richard's voice on the phone with Savannah, because that was Richard. And then I heard him and I said, he is okay. This guy just needs a break. And he doesn't know anything to anybody. He doesn't owe us an explanation of why he wants to be away. He just came out because he needed to let us know that he is okay and he is safe. And that's all we need to know. And respect his time, because he has given so much to all of us. And you've been lucky enough to be touched by Richard, whether it's an exercise video or you've been able to be part of that Simmons crew, then you know he has a well-deserved break ahead of him. And whenever he wants to come back, if he does, we'll all be there with open arms waiting to see what he's going to do next. So to all of my fellow alumni at Simmons, I love you all, and I miss you all. Oh my gosh. And to Richard, I love you, and thank you for that, because you made my life just that little bit better in that time when I needed it. And now I'm like Richard because I'm crying. Okay, people, back it up. I just had to share my story.